Breaking news, we take you to the White House right now. The Marines have just stepped out in front of the entry to the White House where President Trump will welcome the leader of one of the world's fastest growing economies. He is about to come face to face with President Trump. It's the first visit for India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi since President Trump took office. Modi's Make in India campaign has become hugely successful since he started as prime minister. Just witness the $30 billion trade deficit we have with the nation. We're sure that President Trump will bring that up. He and Melania, the First Lady, have now stepped up to the red carpet. And as we watch this, you should know that Modi has really been considered a democratic and reformer kind of leader, but there are questions about just how much of a reformer he really is. And no doubt, certainly, there are Indian companies that are publicly traded here that have become beneficiaries of the so-called H-1B visa. These are the visas where foreigners are able to come here with special skills like engineering and software and code writing, come here and work at U.S. companies, and those visas then enable companies like Wipro, et cetera, to actually, do really well. They get some money for any placements they have. Infosys is another one, publicly traded. As they salute, we believe that it is probably an indication that Prime Minister Modi has arrived. There he is in the car. And we can talk over this with our guest. He is the former ambassador to India, Tim Romer. As we watch these pictures, Ambassador, tell us the significance of this meeting and whether it will be warm or tension-filled or a little of both.
Well, good to be with you, Liz. First of all, this meeting has been talked a lot about in the last couple of days as being one only about chemistry. How will the two of them get along personally? I think it's about much more than that. It is about physics. When big forces come together, how will Mr. Modi reconcile his India first with Mr. Trump's
America first?
America first. Mr. Modi wants to build in India. Mr. Trump wants to protect American jobs. There's a way to do this. There's a way for both sides to talk about a win-win scenario where we manufacture things in America and we sell them to India. It might be defense. It might be a Caterpillar or John Deere equipment to help them with their agriculture. It might be clean liquid gas, natural gas for their economy, so they have a stronger, cleaner economy. But managing these differences and talking about where you have differences. Maybe you have some differences on Afghanistan. Maybe you have some differences on trade. Maybe you have differences on climate change. Maybe our American businesses are having a hard time getting into their market. Managing those differences is every bit as important as finding new areas to deepen this strong relationship. You
mentioned that we could benefit from this by manufacturing items that India buys. Not working that way right now in the way that President Trump and many Americans would like to see it work, meaning we got a $30 billion deficit with them. We're buying all of their products and they're not buying enough of ours.
Well, that's exactly right, Liz. And one of the things we did in the Obama administration is the president really worked hard to try to make sure we were selling them equipment, GE turbines made in South Carolina, C-17s that would help India both with their defense and with their humanitarian assistance after an earthquake or a tsunami, to be a leader in the region to help other countries. Those were made in the USA, great products made by U.S. workers and then sold to India, and it's a win-win scenario for both.
Well, have you seen this Economist, front page of The Economist for the most recent June 24th issue? It says, Modi's India, the illusion of reform. There are believers who say this guy isn't really a reformer. To what do you attribute that? And, Donald Trump sees through some of this, particularly where he felt that India was gaming the Paris Climate Accord and that we'd get the short end of that stick.
Well, I happen to think that whether it's government to government with the United States and India or business to business, our businesses, we have a great opportunity to be able to sell India technology that will help them with a cleaner economy. natural gas, wind and solar equipment, things we're making here again with hands and brains of Americans that the Indians desperately want to buy those products. So I think even on the climate issue, we have an opportunity to sell them things that will decrease our deficit with them and enhance their security. We also may hear the announcement of $2 billion worth of drones, American drones made in San Diego, California by General Atomics to the Indians. That would help them on counterterrorism. That would help them protect a key asset of the Indian Ocean, something we want to work more and more with them on. That maritime security domain is something that the United States and India can work more on, and that will bother China. And that's a good thing to get China's attention on. We can't have China filling vacuums these days and taking power away from the United States or
We know
India.
they're already moving to do this. And as we finish up, you know, there are two big Indian companies that are publicly traded, Wipro and Infosys. Infosys, I believe, is hitting a new high today, ticker symbol INFY. And those are companies that benefit when they place Indian workers in America through H-1B visas. So what's going to be the tension there?
There's going to be a lot of tension there. I met with Mr. Modi about 2 months ago when I was in India, Liz, and this was the topic that Mr. Modi got the most animated about. He said America needs to be able to continue to invent things in the world, be the leader in the world economy, and therefore they need to be able to bring in Americans in engineering and high-skill background to help create new businesses and new jobs in America. That can be part of it, but we need to make sure we protect our homeland security. We need to make sure that we're bringing in the right people safely